are some of the biggest things that parents who have children with special needs during the holidays should watch out for or look for?
Right. So a lot of it is the anxiety about not knowing what's going to happen when and where they're going to be when. So as much as we can, we want to share that schedule with them. So maybe plan one fun activity per day or something special. And then the rest of the time, just hang back, lay back, and they want some downtime too. Hopefully the child is going to get used to each parent's parenting style, but we want to share maybe with the other parent what works for them. But really, it's a bigger story, one of how anybody going through divorce can then find their new purpose and look at it in a positive way as opposed to something that's a negative. Know that you're not alone. You don't have to do this alone. There are people and support groups there to help.
Welcome to the Just Separated podcast. Hi, I'm Karen Oman, a thanatologist, grief counselor, divorce strategist, and co-author of the Just Separated workbook. I draw on years of personal and professional experience to guide you through the challenges of your divorce. Together, with our expert guests, we'll equip you with the clarity, resilience, and tools to take charge and move forward with confidence. Follow Just Separated and join us as we explore the many different facets of divorce. Hi, welcome to the Just Separate podcast. I'm your host, Karen Oman, co-founder of Divorce Workshop. Today, we're going to talk about navigating co-parenting during the holiday season when separated or divorced, including those children with special needs. And our expert guest today is Mary Ann Hughes. Mary Ann is a proud mom of sons on the autism spectrum, founded Special Needs Transitions to help other parents navigate the overwhelming and complexities of divorce involving a child with complex needs. As a certified special needs divorce coach, premeditation divorce coach, family mediator, parent coordinator, and co-parenting specialist, Mary Ann's mission is to help parents consider and advocate for the unique needs of their children while reducing the time, stress, and expense involved in divorce and co-parenting challenges. Mary Ann is also a proud speaker, author, and trainer to support and educate parents and professionals. Welcome back, Mary Ann, to the Just Separated podcast.
Thanks so much, Karen. Pleasure to be here speaking with you again.
So, Mary Ann, when it comes to the holiday season, why do you think this time of year is so hard for co-parents compared to other times of the year?
Sure, there's so many stresses involved with the holiday season, from getting your house ready, getting decorations up, doing shopping, planning your menus, and planning what you're going to be doing during the extended break your kids might have. And so that's stressful enough when you're an intact family, but when you're separated or going through divorce or already divorced, there's a lot more pressures that go along with that, from figure out when their kids are going to be with each parent, what that might look like, how they're going to have their holiday traditions that they've been used to and that the parents are used to, and how that's going to look different. So, it's something that we don't anticipate when our children are not going to be with us during the holidays and times that we cherish and mean a lot to us. And so we have to figure out how we're going to manage that and how we're going to do that in a way that doesn't put stress on the kids, but also it lets them enjoy the holiday festivities and everything that goes along with that.
Do you think that, I was thinking, communication breakdown is pretty common in co-parenting. And I'm thinking, I wondered if in your experience with your clients, is there tend to be more communication issues during the holiday season?
Yeah, so it depends on what their normal communication pattern is and how amicable they may be. So for someone getting along, flexibility is really key in terms of how things are going to be handled, when the child will be at each home, and so on. But for some who are maybe higher conflict and really keep to the strict decree in terms of parenting plan, possession time, and holiday schedule, then you may have some more issues if you are looking maybe to plan a special event or have some things that you like to do that maybe is on the other parenting time. So sometimes people may deal with parenting apps, which are helpful. Sometimes it may be via email and sometimes verbal communication, but in the hard conflict, we try to minimize that because that tends to maybe be a problem. But during the holidays, yeah, it can be more stressful because there are more demands on our time and plans that we like to do with our kids and things we'd like them to experience. And so Then you also have extended family pressures where maybe grandma's hosting something and you really want the kids to be there. How is that going to work, or maybe not work, and having to explain to the family that this is not, the kids are with the other parent and not here. And so, yeah, it makes it sometimes difficult because there are so many external pressures going on as well.
Yeah, I was just about to add, I was just thinking the pressure to have that magical holiday season, especially as you're the co-parent now on your own doing all of it. It can add. Do you agree with that?
For sure, yeah, because we may have our normal routine during the school year and everyone's fine with that, but there's so many unexpected things that may go on during the holidays, break times, and that does create perhaps more stress and anxiety at home and pressure to perform or to um, feel like you have to do certain things and do the extra things that maybe you wouldn't have to. And sometimes those are pressures that we put on ourselves. Maybe our kids, um, just want to have a nice time and feel loved, and we feel the extra pressure to get extra gifts or go the extra mile, or maybe even feel like we have to outdo the other parent. But that's really not healthy, and that's not what we want.
Yeah, I was thinking that competitive thing that can happen with co-parents, especially during the holiday seasons, right? Where the kids go to dads and dads bought them tons of stuff, and you go to mom's and mom maybe can't afford all the tons of stuff anymore. So as you just said, it in the real meaning of the holidays is not just the gifts, but I can see how that would play a part in some of the co-parenting dynamics.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, like you said, we want to remember the real reason for the holidays and what we're truly grateful for and what we want to share as values to our kids about the holidays and what those mean to us. And it may not be presents. Sometimes too many presents can be too stressful, especially for my population, which is working with children with autism or special needs. Sometimes too many presents and too many activities can be overwhelming and overstimulating. So we want to look at the child really what's going to be best for them and keep it simple as much as we can.
So I just want to touch down quickly about the grief component, right, in the holiday season, because it is, being that I went through it myself for a while, it is different, right? Like you are used to your rituals as a family unit, and then those rituals have to change or modify. What do you think about the grief component?
Yeah, I think that's a huge thing that we deal with, especially at the beginning of the divorce. I remember after recent, after my divorce in the first few months, I went to church with my kids for a holiday. And I remember seeing families there together. Like, it's not fair. Why does this have to happen to me, to my kids? And why do I have to like go alone now and be in this position? But over time, I then took pride and joy in taking my kids to special events and making it special for them and not thinking back on the past and how it used to be, but creating new traditions, like you said, and how do we want things to be and what memories can we create for our kids that put a positive spin on things and a grateful and joyful way of looking at it as opposed to thinking how it was in the past. How do we create new memories, new traditions that they can look forward to going forward?
Yeah, I think that's one of a really good tip is I think a lot of us, I did it as well as, we went out and bought our own ornaments for the tree, right? Like you can do anything. You go like, well, let's start a movie hot chocolate night, or let's do a walk in the lights or something, depending on your child, right? But there are things that you can do to help ground you in your new life, right? So that's a really good tip.
Right, for sure. Yeah, because the other parent may do things totally differently, or they may keep the same traditions. We don't know, and we can't tell the other parent, what to do and how to do it, or be disappointed if for some reason they don't make a big a deal about it. Maybe if they don't put up their decorations because of whatever their circumstance is. We still have to just focus on what we're doing, what brings us joy, what's important to us, and have the kids involved. So, say we're doing a tree, like my son right now is getting excited about putting up the decorations on the tree and putting it up. We're a little bit late for some people, but we like to make a special event about that. And so he's been talking about that for weeks, but he may not be doing that at his dad's. But he knows that this is what we do at mom's, and at dad's it looks different. And so, yeah, we have to cherish what we can do and maybe have some ideas, get some ideas from the kids. What's important to them? What would they like to see? What are some ideas that they have? Some things that they like to see, some outings that they have. Here we have some great spectacular holiday lights and drive-through areas and enjoying that. And there's something new that comes out every year. So maybe we look at that or find ways to maybe look at things that we've done in the past, like maybe some classic movies or activities that they look forward to as well.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be expensive, right? It can be just simple things, right? And kids really like that. I love that you said like involve the kids, like especially, even 5-year-olds, right? They can help you figure this out together, and that can be a family ritual that's done together. So that's really good. So let's talk a little bit about co-parenting with special needs as well, just because that's also your expertise. What are some of the biggest things that parents who have children of special needs during the holidays should watch out for or look for?
Right. So a lot of it is the anxiety about not knowing what's going to happen when and where they're going to be when. So as much as we can, we want to share that schedule with them. So if you know that you've got certain days and dad has certain days, let them know ahead of time. This is what they can expect, because during the long holiday break, it becomes difficult to sometimes fill up their time or have them have some structured activities. So we want to make sure that they know what's happening and we can plan around that. So for instance, if maybe you're going on a trip, some people do, then we want to plan for that. Let them know what's coming, let them know, let them help either be involved in the planning or share with them what the plans are so it doesn't become a surprise. They can look forward to that, and they can be ready for that by including photos of where you're going, descriptions, and so they can then be excited about that when that time comes.
Um, so routines are very important. Does communicating those routines also help?
It does. So one way I do that is through a visual schedule, depending on the level of ability of the child, of course. So you can have what they call a social story, which is like a little guidebook as to what's happen and when and what they can expect. So it's not a surprise. Another way is to share a visual calendar posted on the wall or on a piece of paper where they can refer to it. And if the child is verbal, then of course you can have those discussions as well. So it can be a combination of pictures, words, or both. So yeah, that definitely helps because they really want to know what's happening, because they're sometimes children with autism have a hard time with change and adjusting and not knowing what comes next. So we want to minimize that stress by providing that information, reassurance, if they keep asking about it, things like that.
So something that came into my head right now is this parenting styles, right? So when it comes to, I mean, even for all families, parenting styles are different, right? So if you have a parent that is the easy parent, or the one that, does that make it more difficult in this type of situation?
They can. So hopefully the child is going to get used to each parent's parenting style, but we want to share maybe with the other parent what works for them. So maybe the other parent maybe hasn't been as involved or isn't familiar with some of uh, the behaviors and how to then maybe readdress or redirect some of those behaviors. So we want to share things in a non-threatening way, or maybe share resources or third-party resources, so it's not coming from us telling them how to parent and what to do, but here's some things, share these are the things that have helped the child. That way, if they want to refer to them, they can. Um, and so, yeah, every parent's going to have a different parenting style and things that the child needs to feel secure. But hopefully, each parent is sensitive to that, and no parent is going to parent the same, even when they're living under the same household. There was
Mhm.
still different parenting styles, and so kids can adjust. Even those with intellectual or developmental disabilities, they can adjust to a parent's style, and as long as that's consistent during that time. What's helpful is for them to know, once again, like their schedule, what they can expect, and know that they feel loved and secure, and that they know when they'll be seeing the other parent again. That helps too, to know when that transition is going to happen, when they're leaving from one home to the other.
I guess you don't really want like housing whiplash where you're back and forth, co-parent, like over the holidays.
Right, right. So whether it's during the holidays or during a regular week, we want to try to minimize the number of transitions because it does cause a lot of anxiety sometimes to go back and forth, back and forth. So say we're going on vacation, it's hard living out of a suitcase and going back and forth. It takes a whole day sometimes just to readjust and decompress. And so we want to give them time to adjust and feel comfortable in each home before then making the next transition. So yeah, definitely I encourage people to spend time and kids in each home and have a wonderful time there. But the going back and forth may not be the right answer for some kids.
Would that be something that anyone that's listening that's just separating or in the new year, would that be something that would be vital to put in the co-parenting arrangement and plan?
I think so, like a step up plan or even gradual plan where maybe for the first time going to a new home, maybe go visit the home, or as we talked about in the social story, maybe look, see pictures of it and know what to expect. And then maybe spend a few hours and then one overnight and then a whole weekend and then maybe then work up to longer periods of time like vacation time. A lot of children who have complex needs don't do well perhaps with like a 30-day standard summer possession that may be standard in some places. So maybe you can break that up for what works for your family. Maybe a week here, maybe a week there. Split it up so that you're really thinking about what the child and how they best thrive as opposed to what's most convenient for the parent. Granted, parents have vacation times and schedules and things that we do need to work around, but try to think of it as a bigger picture. How can we schedule our time so that the children don't feel the additional stress of going back and forth or being away from one home for too long when that's what they're used to?
What do you think about that for the same, like for the co-parenting? Like I'm thinking as a child of divorce myself, and I did not appreciate the whiplash that I experienced, right? So, and I know it's common, right? Christmas Eve, then Christmas morning, you get sent, you go off to the other co-parent, and I remember I didn't like that much, and I know I didn't have a choice because I was young, but I'm just wondering what your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so what's important is the time we spend with a child, not the actual day. So if it um, doesn't make sense or it's difficult on the child, because like you said, the whiplash effect of going back and forth, and have them feel like they're not spending enough time or feel like they're being pulled away when they're really enjoying that time, then maybe one parent can celebrate on another day. So we don't want to necessarily split, say, Christmas Day, where um, they're so into what's happening then and feel like they have to just stop, leave their new toys and things that they're doing to then start over and readjust at the other parent. So maybe um, yeah, maybe you find another day later during the holiday where you do have that big celebration. So we just had Thanksgiving, for instance. So some people don't have to celebrate it on the actual day. In the U.S., we have it in November. But maybe somebody has a big event another day, the Friday after, or even a few days after. It's the memories that they're going to remember and cherish, not so much the actual day that it happened when they look back on it.
Yeah, it seems to me that a lot of like parents, including I myself a little too, that we get stuck on that day, right? Like, we really, and it's nostalgic and it's rituals and it's a lovely day. But I think you're right. I think if we can be a little bit more open to kind of thinking about what's the best interest of the kids, maybe rotating like the holiday, one Christmas, so like one year and then next Christmas with you, like the actual day. But it's just something that a parent should think about, is what you said, right? Like it's, maybe the day is the 26th, not the 25th. And I just know from my own personal experience as that little kid that it was not easy.
Right, right. It's difficult. And so maybe one parent, it is more important to them, the traditions, and the other parent, maybe it's not as important. Maybe they don't really care about decorating. Maybe they don't really care about the actual day. So maybe have that discussion and say, okay, well, maybe this holiday is more important to me. Maybe you can get them on another holiday or another day, like you said, where you can celebrate. So really kind of balance the family traditions and what's important to each parent and what makes the child happy as well. Granted, we don't want to leave it to the child to make that decision because these are adult decisions, but really think about how it's going to affect them in the long term, and what they can enjoy by seeing extended family and having those traditions that they're used to. And if the other parent, as we talked about, that's not as important to them, then they can do something different and hopefully have another way to communicate with that parent during the day.
Yeah, I also want to mention that kids feel too. So the anxiety and so if you're under a lot of pressure to make, we talked about this before, make that perfect holiday season, and you're running on empty because you have a lot. Holiday season stressful enough, and then when you're going through a divorce or separation, it adds. You're even more flooded. So make sure. I wanted to start talking about some tips for everybody. So one of them is make sure you look after yourself, right? And we tend to not do that because we're so overwhelmed getting everything else. So make sure that you take time for yourself. I'll go for a walk, meditate, have a nice cup of tea, whatever it is. But anyways, Mary Ann, what are some tips that you would give some for the
Yeah,
holiday
I
season?
would agree because I think it's hard, especially at the beginning, to say, "Oh, my kids are away from me. What am I going to do during this time?" Is now I look at that as opportunity for to do things for me, to do my shopping, my cleaning, my exercise, catch up on paperwork, wrap presents, whatever the holiday may be. And so take advantage of that time. Don't look at it as a time you're going to dread or say, "Oh, I'm going to miss my kids so much." Think about it as like a time for you to do things that maybe you can't do when they're around, especially as a mother of a children with complex needs. We can't always get things done when the kids are home. So take full advantage of that, having that time for yourself, whether it's spending time for you, spending time with other family members, friends, or just having some downtime, which is precious as well.
I also think I was thinking too, a lot of times when especially your first or second holiday, there's a lot of anxiety that can build up going, well, what am I going to do if I don't have them Christmas Day? Well, I always suggest that you try to plan something. Maybe plan to go to a friend's house, or if you have family around, or go for a walk, or just plan something. Generally the anxiety is heavier right before the actual day, but simple things that you can do to plan to make that, if you don't have the kids, and you're feeling sad or grieving about that, then plan something ahead of time, right?
Yeah, well, most definitely. Even having a little trip that you take either by your own or with some friends or other people that you may know, or visit people who are out of state. That's a great way to spend that time and enjoy that time, as opposed to um, grieving what was or could have been or might have been, which is no longer going to help us.
I also was thinking lower the bar, right? We tend to put a lot of expectations on ourselves, and so just remember what Mary Ann said. It's a day. Remember what it's for. So I just want to tell everybody, you don't have to have everything perfectly done. Your kids love you for you, not because of everything's being perfect. I don't. So just lower the bar a little bit. I'm not talking, it's hard for a lot of people because we have that control in us where we want to make everything perfect, especially when our kids are going through this with us, our divorce, and you're feeling that guilt heavy. It's just, don't expect, just be kind and self-compassion to yourself.
Right. I like what you said too, because they can sense our emotions, even if we're not saying them out loud. If we're stressed or we feel sad or resentful, then they're going to pick up on that. And that's going to affect their mood and how they perceive the holiday and spend time there. So even if you have negative feelings, as much as you can, show a positive face. If you need to go to a mental health professional or support group or find people to help you deal with those emotions, a grief counselor, whatever it may be, then definitely do that to help you be in a good position to be your best self and provide the environment that you would want for your child, and the positive feelings and ways that then they want to then to take that and reflect that as well.
What are your thoughts about, I think you mentioned this already, about like having kind of a recovery day, so you go through it all, and then you kind of tell the kids, like, today is just kind of, uh, like, it's like leftovers, things are going to be quiet. We have no plans. Like, how do you feel about that?
Right. Yeah, we don't want to overschedule things. I feel like we have to be a cruise director with every single hour plan. It can't be like that, regular life or during holidays. So yeah, so maybe plan one fun activity per day or something special. And then the rest of the time, just kind of just hang back, lay back, and they want some downtime too. They don't necessarily want to be performing or feel like they're being entertained all the time. Sometimes they may just want to relax. They may be tired from all the demands that they have from the regular school year. Maybe a break is a good time for them to decompress and just relax, chill, and not have to think about what do I need to do next and be ready for. Sometimes, yeah, my son just wants to just relax, do puzzles, play on his iPad, and it's good for them. We don't want them maybe doing that all day, but if they know that there's a special event coming up that they can look forward to, then that's great too. But everybody wants some downtime, including the parents, just
Yeah.
to plan
Yeah, I
for.
was just thinking, when if you're sharing the holiday, you tend to want to pack it in because you don't have as much time as you did before, and if you've had relatives to visit, and so I think it's really good advice just to, just kids also need downtime. They've been at school, they're busy themselves with activities as well, so they also need downtime.
Right, and if you think about it ahead of time, that I think that helps too. Say, okay, these are the 5 or 10 most important things that I'd like to do this holiday break during my time with the kids, and then you can plan for that. And the rest of the time, you don't have to plan. It's okay.
Hmm. Do you have any other tips for the co-parents during the holiday season before we wrap up?
Yeah, so I would say uh, make this a time that you're going to enjoy with the kids, and don't worry so much what the other parent is doing or not doing. Focus on what the kids are doing with you. Make it a happy, joyful time, even though deep down inside you may be stressed out about what's going to happen next or at the other parent's home. But just take that time, be present with your kids, do some fun things that you're going to enjoy, build new traditions and memories, or even something small that you may not know is a good tradition that you find they enjoy. Maybe do it again the next year and look forward to that. So, yeah, this times of holidays are stressful for everybody, but we want to just enjoy it, not thinking about the pressures, not feeling like we have to give lots of gifts, make things complicated for ourselves or for them. Really, kids want to wake up, have wonderful presents to open, and enjoy that time, and know that they're loved and secure, and that they may not get every gift that they may want under the sun or Santa is going to bring them, but that the ones we have, we want to enjoy and enjoy the time we have together.
I was just thinking, just savor the moments, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So, as you know, I ask everybody this question before we wrap up. So, for someone who's just separated, where they left or were left, what advice would you give them to help them navigate those overwhelming early days?
So find some people who have been there who can help, whether it's some friends, family, or people like ourselves who are there to support people in these times of transition. It's very hard. Like you said, you deal with the grief going on. If you have special needs, that adds an extra level of complexities to things, the things to think about and plan for as part of the separation and life afterwards. And so know that you're not alone. You don't have to do this alone. There are people and support groups there to help.
Yeah, I think support is essential. I think I look back to my own experience. I wish I had it, right? I didn't know about all of it. Now we have so much more, right? So it's important. So, Mary Ann, you have lots going on in the 2026. If you want to mention what that's all about.
Sure, excited that I'm going to be giving a TEDx talk about my journey as a mom of children with autism and going through divorce, and how then that helped me to reinvent myself and find my new purpose in being a certified special needs divorce coach. But really, it's a bigger story, one of how anybody going through divorce can then find their new purpose and look at it in a positive way as opposed to something that's a negative. And so that I'll be presenting in January, but once the recording is live for everyone to view, I'll definitely share that information. And excited that I have got a book that I'm working on with a children's divorce book author, and we're making one specifically to help families who have a child with autism. So it'll be conversation prompts and things to think about for the parent, as well as for the child to know what to expect and how to maybe find comfort in the changes that are happening. And that will come out in January as well, and I'll share links to that. And then I'm also co-hosting a divorce with special needs children summit, where we have experts in the field of the intersection of divorce and special needs to share information with families who may be thinking about going through or maybe already divorced, and how to plan for their future and how to get through the difficult times. So that will be going on January 31st as a free virtual event. So everyone's welcome to attend that, and I'll share the link for that as well.
Yeah, such wonderful stuff. And I think I've said it before to you, but it's so needed, right? None of us want anyone else to navigate what we've had to navigate, right? That's why you're so good at special needs and I do the grief stuff, right? Because it's stuff that's really needs to be talked about more. So thank you for coming back on, Mary Ann, and happy holiday season to you.
Thank you, you too, Karen, and everybody listening as well.
Thank you for joining today's discussion with our divorce expert. Check out the show notes for more about our guest. If you're finding value in our podcast, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and our YouTube channel at Divorce Workshop. Share your questions, comments, or guest suggestions. We'd love to hear from you. For a comprehensive divorce guide, check out our Just Separated workbook on Amazon worldwide. This workbook covers everything from emotions and co-parenting to finances, legal insights, and recovery, a must-have for anyone navigating separation or divorce.